Hello and welcome to Lantern Lane Stories. Tonight's story is The Second Son of Cusco. High in the Andes Mountains, where the air is thin and cold, sits the city of Cusco. In the year the conquistadors call 1438, a boy named Pachacuti woke before sunrise in the royal palace. Frost covered the stone window. He wrapped his cloak tight, llama wool, soft and warm, and watched the mountains turn from black to blue to gold. "The sun is coming back," he whispered. "It always comes back." Every morning was the same. Pachacuti would wake and wonder about the world beyond the palace walls. He was 10 years old, maybe 11. His father, the Sapa Inca, had already decided Pachacuti's older brother would be emperor someday. That was the way of things. The firstborn son was prepared for power. The second son was simply a second son. But Pachacuti could not stop asking questions. At breakfast, while servants brought corn porridge and guinea pig, he asked, "Father, how many towns does our empire hold?" "Enough," his father answered, not looking up. "But exactly how many?" Pachacuti pressed. Pachacuti, his older brother, smiled, not kindly. "Stop bothering father with riddles." At the temple, while priests sang prayers to Inti, the sun god, Pachacuti whispered to an old priest, "Why do we make offerings to the sun? Cannot the sun take care of itself?" The priest laughed, a warm, creaky laugh like a door opening in an old house. "Come with me, curious one. I will show you." The priest led the boy to the highest courtyard of the Temple of the Sun, called Coricancha. The walls glowed with hammered gold that caught the light. Gold bells hung from the ceiling. When the wind moved them, they sang. "We make offerings because the sun gives us everything," the priest said softly. "Without the sun, nothing lives. Not the corn, not the llama, not you." Pachacuti looked at his small hands, brown, thin, powerless. "What if I had the sun's power?" he asked. The old priest bent close and whispered, "Perhaps someday you will, child. The sun chooses whom it wishes to help." Heading: The Boy Who Walked Alone. Paragraphs: One afternoon, Pachacuti left the palace without permission. His father was with his older brother, planning how to govern. Nobody noticed the second son slip through the stone gateway. Cusco in those days was not yet the great city it would become. The streets were narrow and steep, smells of smoke, guinea pigs, corn beer mixed in the mountain air. The marketplace was loud with voices in Quechua, the language of the Inca people. Vendors called out, "Fresh potatoes? Woven cloth, coca leaves for the temples." Pachacuti walked slowly, listening, watching. A weaver sat with her loom, her fingers flying. Red, gold, and blue threads became pictures of mountains and birds. "How do you remember the pattern?" Pachacuti asked. The weaver looked up, surprised that a royal boy would speak to her. "My grandmother taught my mother, and my mother taught me," she said. "The pattern is in my hands now. My hands remember." Pachacuti felt something stir in his chest, a question without words. He climbed higher, into the stone streets above the market. An old stonemason was chiseling at a block, each tap deliberate and true. "Why do you make the stone so perfect?" Pachacuti asked. "Because stone remembers." The mason said, not stopping his work. "A stone placed with care will stand for 1,000 years. A stone placed carelessly will crumble." The boy watched the master's hands. Perhaps someone will build something even greater. At sunset, Pachacuti sat alone at the highest point of Cusco. Below him, the city glowed with cooking fires. Mist gathered in the valleys, mountains surrounded everything, solid and eternal. For the first time, Pachacuti felt something that was not loneliness. It was wonder. "There is so much to build here," he said aloud. "So much to create, so much to remember." Heading: When the mountain held its breath. Paragraphs: 3 seasons later, in the month the Spanish would call June, runners arrived at the palace covered in dust. They brought terrible news. The Chenca people, a powerful nation from the north, were marching toward Cusco. Their army was vast. The runner said there were thousands of warriors, more than Cusco had ever faced. Fear entered the palace like a cold wind. Servants whispered. Guards checked their weapons with shaking hands. Pachacuti's father called a council. He decided the royal family would retreat to the mountains to a safer place. "We will wait for the danger to pass," he told his sons. Pachacuti's older brother nodded quickly, eager to leave. Horses were prepared. Servants packed cloth food, sacred objects. Everyone moved in hurried silence as night fell. Pachacuti stood in the courtyard of the Temple of the Sun. Alone, he watched his family prepare to flee. His father did not ask if he was coming. His brother did not wait to say goodbye. Only the old priest found him there. "You are leaving with your family." The priest asked gently, "I cannot," Pachacuti said. "I do not know why, but I cannot." And the priest was quiet for a long moment. Then he took the boy's small hand. "It is a weathered one. The sun does not run away," the priest said. "Neither do those whom the sun has chosen." Pachacuti's heart moved like a bird taking flight. He closed his eyes. He spoke a prayer in Quechua, words the priests had taught him. "Inti, Father, Son, if you hear me, if you watch over the city, as the priests say, help me. Help us. I will not leave. I will stand guard over Cusco." When he opened his eyes, something inside him had changed. He was no longer a second son, wondering if he mattered. He was Pachacuti, the one who would not run. Heading. The boy who held the city. Paragraphs. Pachacuti gathered the warriors who remained in Cusco, farmers, stoneworkers, priests who had not fled. He was still young, still small, but when he spoke, people listened. "The Chanca come to take what is ours," he said in the main square, called Hokepada. "Our city, our temple, our sacred place under the sun, we cannot defeat them." An old warrior said, "They are too many, then we will not fight like they do." Pachacuti answered, "We will fight like the sun, steady, relentless, bringing light where there was darkness." The Chanca army arrived at dawn. They were indeed vast, more warriors than Cusco had ever seen. But something strange happened. As the battle began, a storm rolled down from the mountains, sudden, fierce, with rain and wind and lightning that made the enemy soldiers afraid and confused. And in that moment, when the Chanca hesitated, Pachacuti's warriors held firm. They did not break. They did not run. They pushed forward with courage, born from the boy who would not flee. For hours, the battle lasted. Then, slowly, the Chanca warriors began to retreat. They ran northward into the mountains, and Cusco was saved. When the fighting ended, exhausted and muddy warriors came to Pachacuti and knelt. He was 12 years old, or perhaps 13. "You saved us," they said. "You, the second son." And that night, his father returned to the city. He found Pachacuti sitting alone in the Temple of the Sun, watching the sunset turn the gold walls crimson. His father wept, tears of pride, tears of shame that he had doubted this boy. "Forgive me, Pachacuti," his father said. "You are no longer my second son. You are the one who will lead our people." Pachacuti looked at his father, and there was no anger in his heart. There was only knowing he had always known. The old priest had been right. The sun chooses whom it wishes to help. Heading, "The builder of dreams." Paragraphs. After that day, Pachacuti's life changed completely. His father gave him power, and power he used with a vision that had been building inside him since childhood. He rebuilt Cusco with stronger walls and grander temples. He created roads that stretched across the mountains, connecting villages and towns. He built granaries called colcas so that food could be stored and shared. But his greatest dream was something no one had built before. He wanted a city so beautiful, so perfectly built, that it would last forever, a city hidden in the clouds where the sun god himself might walk. Workers gathered, thousands of them, all willing to serve the emperor who had saved Cusco, on a mountain ridge over 2,400 meters high, where mist gathers like sleeping spirits. Pachacuti ordered them to build. They carved stone from stone. Each piece fitted so perfectly that no mortar was needed. The stones were placed with the same care the mason had taught Pachacuti when he was a boy, each rock placed with such intention that it would stand for 1,000 years. Temples rose in the clouds, gardens appeared, fed by springs that flowed down the mountainside. Houses and courtyards took shape, growing from the mountain itself. Years passed, decades passed, slowly, impossibly. The city emerged, a place where stone and sky seemed to be made of the same eternal substance. When it was finished, people called it Machu Picchu, the old peak, but Pachacuti knew the truth. It was not a place for the past, it was a place for the sun itself to rest and look down upon the kingdom that his second son had built. Pachacuti went on to expand his empire until it stretched from the north, where Ecuador lies today, to the south in Chile. He ruled for more than 30 years, and in all that time the people knew they followed a leader who had once been overlooked, once been doubted, but who had refused to run when darkness came. When Pachacuti finally rested and went to sleep forever, his people mourned for a whole year. His body was wrapped in the finest cloth, and his memory was passed down in songs and stories. To this day, hundreds of years later, Machu Picchu still stands in the clouds, still perfect, still eternal, a monument to the curious second son who became an emperor, a boy who asked questions, found the answers he was looking for. A boy who would not run, learned how to build kingdoms, and so Cusco also slowly fell asleep.